Welcome to Introduction to Business Management 111 online offered by Harper College. My name is Dr. George Mochocki. Before I go into this week's assignments, let's talk a little bit about last week. You submitted your business name, you submitted your business type. Very impressive. Creative names, good locations, excellent forms. While we're talking a little bit about the forms, here's some questions that students have been emailing me. The forum points are adjusted within the week. So the first time you post and reply to my post and to 2 or 3 other students, I will give you a grade. Then within the week, you post again, maybe once or twice, depending on the quality and frequency of the post. I'll give you another grade. And then I will give you your final grade with your last post. Even if you posted your last post on Friday, some of you, you've completed the 3 separate logins and completed more than the required post within the week, and you would have received your full points early in the week. But you still should read on to within the forums and help other students. Okay, so you're doing well in the forums, good business name, good business types and ventures. Now this week, we're going to be, so now everything you're doing, when you're reading your chapters, start looking at your chapters and start, now that you have a name, you have a business, start taking that information out of the chapter and start thinking, looking at the business plan concept, how would I incorporate some of the vocabulary, some of the concepts into my business, utilizing my business type and structure. Okay, so you're doing very well. I'm very proud of you. Keep up the good work. Some of you are a little bit behind on your quizzes. Your quizzes are doing well. Your Connect, McGraw-Hill Connect, you're all caught up. You're doing very well on that. So you already have the momentum. Okay, what do we have this week? This week we'll be covering 3 chapters. Chapter 7 is on leadership, and that's where our forum is going to be going. You're going to have to do a quick assessment on your own leadership style. You know, whether you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, or a manager, or a first-line supervisor, leadership is important. When you look in your business plan, when I go into the management, when I'm looking at the management, it's a little different than the HR section. The management, I'm looking at who is going to manage this business, who is going to take the capital resources from investors and actually going to make it happen. So that's why I have to know a little bit about who the leaderships are, not future right now. So you're the manager, you're the leader, or your partner's the leader, or you're bringing in people that got the leadership skills. Okay, so you're going to be doing the leadership. Now, what are you going to look at in the leadership? What do you look at the leadership? You're looking at different types of leadership. There's different decision models. If I'm looking at a good leader, he or she has to know how to make decisions. In business, the more information I have, the better decision I could come up with. The problem in business is that a lot of times when I have to make a decision, I don't have all of the information. So if I have 60 to 70% of the information, hopefully I will make a good decision and I could go forward. Try not to wait till you have all the information before you make a decision. For a lot of times, you'll never end up making a decision. Okay, knowledge management, part of the leadership here and within the forums, how are you going to implement your leadership skills within your business? How much empowerment are you going to give to your employees? What kind of a structure, what kind of a leader are you going to be? Are you going to be an autocratic type of a leader? Are you going to be a participative type of a leader? Most small businesses will fall in, and managers will fall into have autocratic, have participative. Because remember, in a business, just like if you'd be running a team in a corporation, you are everything. You're a small business owner, you're a leader, you're first-line supervisor, you're everything in one. So it's kind of a unique situation, but you have to have those leadership skills to get people to take your idea and go forward, okay? And then look about future leaders. You know, most future leaders coming in now are going to be female. Women leaders have a lot of good attributes. Male leaders are a little bit more risk taker. The women leaders a little bit more look at the whole picture a little bit better and take risks, but more of a calculated risk. So look at the different styles between a male managing as a man, managing as a woman. And now you have to look at as your team. Some of your teams may never been managed by a woman before. So how do you approach a team member or teams that are basically managed by men, and vice versa? So remember, Both have good, strong qualities. As a man, I'm more assertive, right to the point, let's get it done. But I forget that emotional, that team building, that how do I engage people, bring them to them. As a female, and I'm not stereotyping, I'm just generalizing. You have more of the natural tendencies. You're more of a nurturing. You're more of a team player. You're more of a person that will take concessions and try to find that win-win situation. Those are the skill sets that the future managers, whether you're an entrepreneur, a small business owner, or in a corporation, are looking for. So I have to pick up the attributes and work on my team building and nurturing skills, where female managers have to look at more being a little bit assertive, a little bit more demanding, for lack of better words. Okay, so that's leadership. The next chapter you'll be looking at will be chapter 8. And chapter 8 is, look, how do I organize an organization? Most of your business are going to be basically very flat type of organization because you're small. But as your business grows, your structure grows. When I do some consulting with small business owners, as they're growing, their leadership and the structure that the companies are set up has to become more of a bureaucratic. They have to have some rules. They have to have some processes. So that's what happens. As your business grows, you will have to be aware that your structure has to change. Look at Facebook. Facebook started out with just the owner by himself, and from Harvard as a college student, created a Facebook just for interaction there. It blown up. Now Facebook is basically a corporation. It went from a sole proprietorship all the way to a corporate type of structure, selling bonds, selling stocks, doing initial public offering. We will get into that later on when you look at the initial public offering value, overvalued stock, when we get into the financial accounting in accounting chapters down the road. Okay, so that takes care of it. Look how the structure enhances or limits team building. Why should people departmentize different functions? You know, I got a marketing thing, I got an accounting thing. As a small business owner, you're a jack of all trades or a Jacqueline of all trades, because you basically have to know everything. As a middle manager, you also have to understand all the different functionalities, but you'll have different departments underneath the corporate umbrella that will be able to assist in those functional, like the marketing or the accounting. So right now, you are everything. So that's why this book is very interesting, because you have to know all this. You may not have to do it. You get contractor outsource, like your marketing or some of your accounting or some of the other aspects or some of your promotions, but you still have to have the conceptual idea. How does it fit into my process? Okay, so that, and look at the tall versus flat. Look at centralization versus decentralization. Most companies going forward have a combination of both structures. They are centralized, where they get the economies of scales, they buy by large, they create the corporate policies, but anything that touches with the customer, they are decentralized. So if you look at Walmart, even though they buy from a larger organization and everything else because they get the economies of scale, if I look at the Walmart that is predominantly in a Hispanic neighborhood, they'll have Spanish foods, little different kind of, to attract that demographics which the Walmart is set up. Now another Walmart may be predominantly into a Asian neighborhood, so they'll have, like you'll see, they'll have more of a Chinese food, they'll have some Korean food, they'll have a little different things, or they may even have Thai food within there, just to get that to satisfy that demographics that Walmart's in. So you see what I'm saying? So most companies are basically centralized and decentralized. So if you're looking at this, most of us starting off our business ventures now are very decentralized, because we're right there. As you grow, start thinking, as I get larger, what kind of a structure should I have? Okay, so that takes care of chapter 8. And now you're going to have chapter 9, which is on production. Chapter 9 looks at operational production. So it looks at the PERT chart and the timeline that you're going to need for your business plan down at the road. You haven't got to it yet. It looks at the requirements. It looks at operations. Now, when I look at it, even though the chapter comes across more for like a manufacturing, the same processes, the same rationale, the same thinking. I go on a production line. Is it a continuous production line? Is it a multi-production line? Is it a manufacturing? The same process on that production assembly line is taken and is converted into the service sector. We don't call it a production operations management. What we basically call it now is we call it process planning or process improvement. All right, so it's a process flow process, mind mapping, process flow. So you're taking the same ideas, only instead of doing it from a manufacturing assembly line, you're looking at process. Customer calls in, I answer the first call, I submit it, it's on process assembly line, I take it to either to a billing department, I send it to either to my sales department, or I send it to my complaint department, or I give it to customer service to take care of modifying my name or my address or my account. Okay, so those are the 3 chapters we'll be covering this week. So what do we have this week in our homework assignment? This week is going to be worth 80 points. So what you're going to have, you're going to be covering chapters 7, 8, and 9, which is, and you're going to have the Connect. But on the Connect, I'm only going to, since we're going to be doing the form on chapter 7, the leadership and everything else, your Connect is only going to be covered on chapter 8 and 9, and it'll be worth the same amount of points, 30 points, only 2 chapters, okay? So you have a video, you have the drag and drop, only covering those chapters. Now you'll do the self-assessment that we talked about in a form on the self-assessment of leader. What kind of leadership leader am I? And if I look at it with an open mind, don't dwell on it. Am I an autocratic type of leader? Am I one that demanding? Or am I more of a participative type of leader? So you'll get the results. When you get your results, you'll basically go into the form. In the form, I want you to tell me, here's my results. I am a good leader, or I'm not. And don't feel bad if you're not. Leaderships, some are natural leaders, born leaders. Many of us are leaders that are developed over time within companies by taking courses like this one. This one just gives you a general overview. I teach a leadership series. I teach principles of management. So that's basically what you could develop your leadership. So just answer now, know where I'm at, and now I know which areas I got to develop. After you post that, again, do I agree with the assessment or not? Second thing is, what 2 areas I should improve? Thirdly is, how would I be able to implement this kind of a leadership, and does this type of a leadership work within the type of a business that I want to open? And you could always say, am I working with a type of a leadership in my present organization? Okay, and then again, within the form, respond to the student. Hey, that's a strength, or here's how you could develop the strength. Oh, this is one of your weaknesses, and you could even throw in one of my weaknesses. Here's where I need development. Okay, and somebody else could say, here's a way how I develop the same kind of and I don't want to say weaknesses, because a lot of times when you look at weaknesses, if I've never led before, how do I know what my weaknesses are? That's what the assessment tells me. But once I've done it, and you have people in this course, in this virtual classroom, that have leadership skills that could put it into the forms. Okay, so that takes care of our chapter 7. Our chapter 8. And let's see. Now, so the assessments, you'll do the form. Now the quizzes. This week, again, you're going to have the quiz. I don't want to overburden you. I know it's a fast-paced class. There's a lot going on. So your quiz is going to be only on chapter 7 and 8. Those are the 2 main important ones that I'm looking at. Remember, 9 is more of a production. So when I'm looking at the quizzes, you're going to chapter 7 and 8. That's the Blackboard quiz, not the McGraw-Hill Connect. And those, but 20 questions, 10 questions per chapter. But each question now will be worth 1.5 points. So you'll get your 30 points. Okay, so you got the form. You can complete that. Only 1 form this week. And I think that's it. I think you guys and gals, you're doing well. This is a great class, great interaction in the forums. I couldn't ask for a better class if I wanted to. Okay, so again, keep up the good work, keep up the forums, do your quizzes. Everything is going fine. Most of you are in my B's and A's. I got a couple of C's because some of you may have came in a little late. You still have a lot of time to catch up and bring your grade to the grade that you deserve, just like you would in business. You're going to look at your grades. Always check your grades to make sure I didn't make a mistake, and you see what your points are, and then you know how much harder you should work or what should you do to improve your grades. Remember, Forums, when I say easy points, it's basically interaction to help your communication online. The Connect is interactive software to help you learn the subject matter, and the quizzes are very, like it or not, you need to take the quizzes. You're being quizzed and tested at work. It just lets me know that you have attained the basic information I needed for the chapters that were coming. Okay, so my name is Dr. George Mochocki. This is Introduction to Business, covering Chapter 7, Leadership, Chapter 8, Organizational Behavior. Real quick on organizational behavior. Why do I need organizational behavior? Organizational behavior is an extension from what we're talking about now. Okay, so I'll see you in the forum, and make sure you do the quizzes, the forums, and I enjoy talking to you in the forums. Have a nice day. Bye.